Episode 9 is set to include tons of twists and turns, as well as surprises by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people are really looking forward to seeing in this film, including myself, has all to do with the Jedi and Sith lore that will be making its way into this movie through, of course, some of the main characters like Rey and Kylo Ren. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with a major hint and or indicator of Palpatine having a huge connection to Kylo Ren and or vice versa. Specifically, a description of Kylo Ren inside of his chambers, holding what is described as a Sith relic that is decades old, and from the planet Coruscant. The next goes over Kylo Ren looking down at the relic, which is described as Palpatine's holocron, where it's said that Kylo begins to make a brief connection with Emperor Palpatine, the man who ruled his grandfather Darth Vader. It's said that through the holocron, Kylo begins to gain knowledge of Palpatine and of new powers within the dark side of the Force. It's said that this is one of the big ways JJ will insert Sith lore into the film. It's also described that Kylo hears voices of Palpatine that will be used and taken from Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this that are really piquing my interest, and I believe that this most definitely connects to what we actually saw in Star Wars Dark Empire, one of the Legends comic lines way back in the 1990s. Now, I'm not quite sure about the current canon. To my knowledge, I'm not quite even sure if Palpatine has his own holocron under the Disney version of Star Wars. That I don't know. But in the Dark Empire comic, this brings me all the way back to the 90s, in which you do learn that Palpatine actually did have his own holocron in that comic series. So, Kylo Ren has a lot of Sith and Jedi relics in Episode 9, and this is one of the big ways that J.J. Abrams is going to implement those actual ideas into this story and to make fans understand exactly what a holocron really is, and of course what kyber crystals really are, etc. This is what I love so much about the Jedi and Sith lore, is because there's so much history behind these pieces. So, the one thing that I do want to go over is how they're actually going to be using actual dialogue from Revenge of the Sith for the character of Emperor Palpatine, to the point where Kylo Ren is hearing voices of the man who once ruled the galaxy and who once was indeed the ruler of his grandfather Darth Vader / Anakin Skywalker. So Kylo Ren actually learns a couple of new powers from this Sith holocron apparently in Episode 9, and this most definitely explains as to why J.J. Abrams is making Kylo Ren a far more evil character than Darth Vader ever was in the original trilogy. You know, if Kylo Ren is picking up the habits of Emperor Palpatine and learning more knowledge based from Emperor Palpatine, now it fully explains as to why Kylo Ren is actually going to be more evil in this movie in comparison to how Darth Vader ever was in, of course, Episodes 4 through 6. So with J.J. Abrams trying to really take this character down a far darker path, this also lines directly up with one of the descriptions about 2 months ago of Kylo Ren actually using Force lightning against General Hux. I don't know if you guys remember this, but it was a very interesting one indeed, and it's very much possible that this is exactly where he learns that power from Palpatine's holocron, because as far as we know right now, Kylo Ren does not know how to use the actual Sith lightning technique prior to the use of, gaining knowledge from other Sith lords through the use of holocrons and other pieces of Sith and Jedi lore, etc. So we do know that Kylo Ren is going to be a far different Kylo Ren than ever before in the sequel trilogy by JJ, and that's one thing that I'm truly excited about, is that it is going to be a version of Kylo where he's basically in his mastered form. He's not going to have a lot of flaws, he's not going to be too conflicted in the sense, he's going to be less whiny, if you will, he's not going to have as many temper tantrums. But I think that one thing that we do deserve to see in this movie is that Kylo Ren actually gets the upper hand and actually does get a big win in this movie against Rey. I think that's something that a lot of guys out there want to see, right? because we already had his defeat in The Force Awakens, and he already had his defeat indirectly in The Last Jedi. So now in Episode 9, I think that Kylo Ren really needs the upper hand, and needs to have like a win against Rey in some kind of scenario here, whether that's a lightsaber duel, or using the powers that he learns from the actual Palpatine holocron. With a lot of fans, with the connections being made between both Kylo and Palpatine. And with Palpatine indirectly being in the movie, yes, he's not alive, but he will be a part of the overall story, looming in the background. I think it's rather poetic because of how pretty significant he was in both the prequels and the actual originals, you know? So now he's going to be like this looming figure in the background in the sequel trilogy. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.